rocket. You're going to meet the right people that will help further your dreams. You're going to accomplish goals much quicker than you imagined. You're going to come out of debt and pay that house off even though it looked impossible. You're going to get well even though the medical report says there's no way.
Now let me talk to the young people here. You are prey, P-R-E-Y, for these churches. Brand new believers, pray for these churches, P-R-E-Y. It's sexy, it's cool, Calvinism, man. Because I got God in the box.
When Christ died on the cross, paying the price for us, pleading obedience for us, bearing wrath for us, absorbing sin for us, he decisively accomplished that for his own, his sheep, his elect. He decisively accomplished it. He didn't just make it accomplishable. He did it.
No ball or chain, no prison shall keep British rebels out of sight.
Welcome to A Rebel's Cause Radio, the show where we ask questions, find answers, and make fun of Joel Osteen. And now, here is that rebel who has a cause. I'm not sure what that cause is, but he says he has one. The tattooed freak of a man, your host, Dan.
Off, huh? Just right off.
Dan.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, oh well. This is a Rebels Cause Radio. Despite the bad production on the front end, we are live here. It's Thursday. What is it, the 6th? 6th of September already? Yep. Goodness, we're going fast. What you guys are going to see here is what we do before every show. And so we wanted to do this now because we missed the opportunity before the show, and we're just going to pray ourselves in. So guys in the studio, bow your heads. You online, I don't care what you do. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we come before you and we ask that you would bless this show, Lord, that if it be your will, that it would be edifying and beneficial to others, and if it not, that you would shut it down, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Normally we don't do that off air, but I don't start a show without praying. I don't think we ever have.
This is the first time we've missed it before the show started.
Yeah. So anyway, Rebels Cause Radio, tonight we've got a doozy of a show. We've got a Skype interview. We had some... It's been part of the reason we missed it. We had some problem with Skype. I don't know if you guys knew that. I've got a videographer over here, Kristen Day, who is videotaping me for Frankie Mink's upcoming documentary, Is This Heaven? So he'll be in here. So you might see a couple shots. Apparently he didn't want to get into the shot.
That was an invite.
Yeah, it wasn't him. Yeah, you can wave and say hi.
Yeah, I'll wave.
Yeah, there you go. See we got here. We're real transparent here. So you might see him running in our shots. We've got on with us, though, a very interesting guest. We have one of the guys that's putting together the Proof That God Exists conference out in Florida, Orlando, Florida. I've been trying to get out there. It's not going to work for me, but I thought the next best thing is we could start bringing them to us. And so they're going to go through Ben's going to walk us through what the conference is, what it's about, and hopefully we'll get some of his understanding on apologetics and what they're doing out there, and it should be pretty exciting. We also probably will have time towards the end of the show to take callers. We take callers the whole show, but we should have some time towards the end of the show to take different topics. So if you got a topic for us, we'd love to take it on and discuss it. And as we do every week, our show isn't a teaching show. We're not trying to teach you anything. We're trying to discuss things. We want Christians to get in the conversation, and that's kind of our goal, and to apply Scripture to things and flesh it out, and we'll go from there. Do we got Ben up yet, Ryan?
I do believe so.
Okay, let's go right to Ben.
All right.
This is like the worst show ever. Hey, Ben, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Now, Ben, I didn't even say your last name. It's Edens, right? With an S.
It's like the garden with an S. Is what
like
my wife and I tell people. Yeah.
Okay. And you are who?
Sorry about the bouncy camera here. Trying to negotiate with a cat that wants on my table. But anyway, my wife and I are planning a meeting, the Proof of God conference for Eric Hovind and Creation Today. And I know that Cy was on your show, and he's speaking there. And Eric, I know wants to do your show. We're just trying to work out a time that's available.
Sure.
And we're certainly excited about that. And it was the first time I heard your intro where you were playing Joel Osteen, and I really had to worry about you for a second.
Everybody does.
We could take a page from Wretched.
Well, but I thought I heard a music similar to "Dream On" from Aerosmith in the background, so I thought, okay, well, maybe I see where they're going with that.
It might be "Highway to Hell"
or "Stairway to Heaven."
Yeah, it could. It could be. I'm not sure what I got there.
It's
right
"Stairway
now.
to Heaven" for
Is
sure.
Is it "Stairway to Heaven"?
Totally.
Yeah, we have "Stairway to Heaven" there. So
okay,
because he's buying a "Stairway to Heaven."
Oh, I get it. I'm just not a Zeppelin guy.
Fair enough.
Well, see, we kind of took I'll be blunt. We stole it flat out from Wretched Radio. The idea of having some cheesy song, have a bad teacher saying bad things, and then you follow it up with some better music and good teachers saying good things.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe you ought to try "Losing My Religion" or something next time you have Osteen on there.
There you go. He's kind of our proverbial punching bag, if you will.
Oh, well, he's such a great target. I mean, every time he opens his mouth, I mean, he's, like certain politicians we know.
Yeah. So anyway, you're putting on this conference now. Do you consider yourself an apologist?
I've been studying just for a couple years. I wouldn't really consider myself an apologist. I'm probably more of an opinionist.
An opinionist?
And how do you know I can make up. I am not even going to try to go after size tactics.
Oh yeah. So now,
I love Cy. He's a great guy. I do. He got a chance to spend some time with him, and he's a lot of fun to hang out with. If you have a chance to hang out with him in person, absolutely take that chance.
Okay. So far my exchanges with Cy have hurt my brain because they've tried to make me think, because one of the things I did with Cy was I tried to role play with him, and because I'm a believer, it's hard to think like a non-believer, and it hurt my brain trying to articulate arguments that have been used against me successfully, as well as the people that used them. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of an interesting experiment. Now, are you a presuppositionalist then, or are you a evidential, or there's always the pro-life apologetics, which I heard the other day for the first time?
I've never heard that one.
I don't really know what I would consider myself. Probably more of a presuppositional approach. The guys probably the apologist that I like most is James White. I think the man is a brilliant theologian, and I really enjoy watching his debates and watching him take apart anyone that attempts to challenge him.
The guy's a machine.
Yeah. Very pleasant guy. I was working with another event company a while back, and he was speaking at a conference that the event company was putting on, and I had a chance to have lunch with him probably 2 days in a row. The first day was a pre-debate that he was about to have with an atheist, and he's pretty focused when he has debate day. He's probably a little bit more laid back after he's had his debate. But, what his assistants told me was he had to go through a whole year's worth of literal crap, and he was just ready to put that behind him and move on.
Sure.
So.
Now, and putting together this conference, first of all, give us the details about it, because we've been so rude. Tell us about this conference. Where's it at? What day? What are the costs associated, and yada yada?
Well, it's going to be in Orlando, Florida. It is $59 per person. But if there's any pastors out there or small group leaders, you can get your group in for $49 a person if you get 10 or more people to sign up. And it's going to be October 12th and 13th. And we've got it's about 30 minutes from where Disney is, so we're really in a good spot. We're not far from the theme parks, but we've got a couple of hotels right near the University of Central Florida, and they're very close to the church. I think the farthest this one from the church is about 10 minutes, and that's kind of what we're doing with that. And we'd love to have you there. We've got rooms reserved. and we want everyone to come. It's going to be a great event, and we've got a whole lot of we got a whole lot of great speakers that are going to be there.
Now, and you're not one of those speakers. You're just the guy setting it up, right? And I don't mean that to put you down. I just you probably are noticing I stutter through everything. No, I'm not. So did Moses. That's okay.
Moses was a little bit smarter than me, I think. So
I don't know. That's not the argument he gave God.
Okay, well, you're probably right there.
Now, Ben, what would you and your wife were kind of the spearhead of this, right? Is that my understanding? Is my understanding correct?
Yeah, I had first met Eric when I was working with the other event company, and after I left there, we decided, I decided, you know what, I think we can help Eric out, and for some reason, Sovereign lost contact with him, so my wife is actually meeting planner for a nuclear power company, and so she has the experience putting together meetings. So we kind of combined our experience and said, "Hey, Eric, we can help you out with this," and that's kind of how things were started with that.
Now, does this have anything to do with maybe a perceived rampant rise of resistance to God type thing? I'm using your words. I don't know if you noticed that. Yeah. But does this have anything to do with kind of the movements we're seeing? Even in like the Democratic National Conference here, we saw an active kind of trying to remove God from Scripture or from the Constitution, stuff like that. Well, is that all tied in with this?
It really is, and I can't really get into too many political topics.
Come on!
But what I can say is that I was thoroughly shocked that a major political party was looking to remove God. But even before all of that, the groundwork has been, people have been laying the groundwork for several years.
Sure.
If you look at pop culture today, we have TV shows like CSI, which it's a great show, but there was one episode in particular a few years ago in which they made Christians that believed in creation to be the bad guys.
Well, I've actually heard local radio hosts say, I can't believe how stupid George W. Bush is for believing God created the world and not believing in evolution. And it kind of blew my mind because it's like, what do you think Christians think when somebody says they're a Christian?
Well, there's certainly a perception of Christians that pop culture and especially the entertainment industry put out there. You've got in most movies, the ministers are cheating on their wives and just living a completely immoral lifestyle like it's not a problem. So when you see that, that's one of the reasons people are walking away, because they're just saying, well, there is no difference between this. You got people who are claiming Christ and people that won't. I don't know if you you look about the same age I am. Do you remember the band DC Talk?
Absolutely.
Yes, we do.
In fact, Jesus Freak is still one of my favorite songs.
Okay,
embarrassingly enough.
Yeah, off that same album.
Sure.
Off that same album, they have a song called "What If I Stumble."
Also a good song.
Yes.
And that song, to this day, I remember the opening quote that says,
"The leading cause of atheism today is Christians that claim him with his lips but deny him with their lifestyles."
Right. And at the time when I was in high school, I had a atheist basketball coach, and I presented that to him, and he, in very creative vernacular, told me that it was correct.
I always kind of tend to believe this.
Colorful metaphors.
Yeah. That music you're hearing in your headphones means we were going to a break. This is a Rebels Cause Radio. Join us right after these breaks.
I brought along a couple of the Home Comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershot.
I'm Administrative Manager.
I am the Senior Technician.
From Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
You know, if we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, you know, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, it's your home.
You know, it's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're going to do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's going to be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're going to do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed rider it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you going to say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're going to be listening. They're going to want to know what your challenges are. Then they're going to come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you know, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me. But is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though. I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm going to take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed rider, it's free or 100% money back.
Enough said.
Hi, this is Dan Fry, one of the hosts of A Rebels Cause Radio. Did you know that you can like us on Facebook? That you can follow us on Twitter? That you can watch our previously recorded shows on YouTube? That you can listen to a live audio stream on Mixlr.com? That's mixlr.com/webcast-1-live. Or that you can email us with any ideas you have for the show at idea@arebelscause.com. And we want to say thank you. We love this show, but we couldn't do it without rebels like you who interact with us on a daily basis through these methods. So thanks for going with us on this journey in search of edifatainment.
And now, a Rebels Cause Radio would like to present A Moment with Spurgeon.
It does at first seem most amazing to an awakened man that salvation should really...
Brian, maybe you should take the sunglasses off and focus on producing.
Dude, you told me you did not want to see that picture ever again, so I was going to focus on you.
I don't want to be focused on...
While we did the Spurgeon intro.
No, I'm not Spurgeon. Spurgeon's the prince of preachers. I'm certainly not even close. This is a Rebels Cause Radio, though.
You are making headway on the beard, though.
I am. I am making head. Actually, I had to cut it down, but don't interrupt that because now I'm lost my. This is Rebels Cause Radio. This is probably the poorliest produced show on the winterweb. However, I hope we have some good content at least. We've got with us in house today. We've got P Honda.
Piston Honda.
No, it's P Honda. Remember, we changed it last week. And we got my Judas of a friend, John, who is slightly sick today.
A little bit under the weather.
It could be judgment from God. And of course, we got in the production booth. I'm not sure he wants us to introduce him, but it is Ryan Mr. Extreme Northfield, and he is dealing with actually a barrage of technical difficulties coming off of another show. So he's trying to get those together, and that's where the little bit of the sloppiness is coming up.
Yeah, it's definitely not. I mean, he's doing a great job. It's just the deck of cards he's been dealt.
Yeah. You know, the downside to having such a nice studio with a bunch of amateurs in it is we run it like amateurs would run a nice studio, and that's poorly. So joining us on the phone, we've got Mr. Benny Edens, and he is one of the people putting together the Proof That God Exists conference that is happening in Orlando, Florida this October. Ben, what are the dates again?
Well, actually, it's the Proof of God conference.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm putting Cy's website and your conference together.
Well, that's fine. But the dates are October 12th and 13th, and the website is proofconference.com.
Okay. Now, give us some background. Who exactly? We know your name's Ben. We know you're one of the guys putting together. Are you part of a company that does this regularly? I mean, give us some background on how you came to be the guy putting this together.
I have some experience putting events together like this. I worked with another event company for a while, and my wife's a meeting planner for a national company. And we decided we wanted to help out. And right now, this is just us doing this on our own. Certainly would be open to opportunities for more conferences down the line. But right now, we're just focusing on this one, and we're hoping everything goes well. And obviously, anyone watching this can help make this go better and attend the event.
Okay, and do you got? And if you don't want to answer this or you're not sure yet at all, do you got people pre-signing up, or the numbers starting to look good and coming together?
The numbers are looking good, but we still have plenty of room.
Okay.
And we want to have a full house.
Sure.
We've got some incredible speakers.
Well, I hear you guys got Ken Ham.
Yes. Yeah. That one actually came about with. Eric Hovind and Ken Ham were on a program on TBN a few months back, and Eric and Ken have been friends for a while, and he said that since they've been on TBN, he and Ken Ham have been talking quite a bit. So I said, well, we do have one open spot for a speaking arrangement. What do you think the chances are of being able to get Ken? He said, well, probably not very good. I said, well, then why don't you ask him? Because, the worst that can happen is he's going to say no. And if that's what we're already expecting.
Sure.
And I get it. And probably within a week, I got a call from Eric, and he said, you're never going to believe this, but Ken Ham said, yes, he wants to come. He wants to get behind our conference. I said, fantastic.
Ben, for those that are listening, could you kind of give a background on Ken? Because I know who he is and I know how famous he is, but for those who've never heard his name.
I guess probably the best way of putting it, he is the president and founder of Answers in Genesis, which is one of the top creation ministries in the world. And having him at this conference is probably equivalent to a computer programmers conference getting Bill Gates to speak.
I would agree with that.
Well, Spurgeon37 on chat says he loves the man, which is kind of awkward, but we'll go with it.
No, he was talking about...
No, he was talking about Ken Ham.
Oh, I thought he was talking about me.
No, he wasn't talking about... Nobody loves you except Jody John. Now, we were kind of before the break. We were talking about some of the reasons you feel the need to have this conference. Something I picked up on there, and I guess I wanted you to explain. You seem kind of down on secular music and movies and television and stuff like that. Does that mean we shouldn't listen to that stuff?
No.
Or?
Oh, no. Really what I'm talking about is a matter of discernment. The Apostle Paul was actually very well versed in the literature of the day. In several of his letters, he referenced some pagan literature to help make his points. So it's not that that listening to secular music or watching movies or TV, are an evil thing. You just got to be careful because the world is watching. The world is watching what we do, and they're just waiting for us to fall. And you just have to be really discerning in what you make. We have the liberty to watch what we want, but again, is it beneficial?
Well, to play off that, we have to watch what we make. Don't you think that with all the garbage that is passed out in the name of Christian art, and I'm not talking artistically garbage, although there's plenty of that too, but I mean like the content, me-centered, man-centered lyrics, I'm broken and I need a hug. Can you hug me, God? Jesus is my girlfriend, all that stuff. The reason I listen to more secular music than Christian music isn't because I'm backsliding. It's because I feel that the majority of what goes under the name of contemporary Christian music is more poisonous to my soul than your average, Journey song or whatever. Pick your insert artist here. My wife's a huge Journey fan.
So am I. That's so funny you said that.
They're great. My wife would call me an old geezer for that, but
yeah, you guys just all made my list of nerds. Every single one of you. Well, I can't name one Journey song, and I'm proud of that.
Don't stop believing.
Yes. The funny thing is,
I don't believe in Journey.
The funny thing is, my wife's a couple months older than I am, and she's the one calling me a geezer because of the music I listen to. But yeah, there's certainly a lot of poor theology that goes out in Christian music as well. I think everything falls under discernment as far as that.
So you're not telling people to go out and see nudie movies, but you're telling them, that it's okay to look at some secular stuff or what have you.
Oh yeah. Actually, one of my favorite movies, my wife would argue that it's not a Christian film. I think there's certainly elements that a Christian could pull out. Was The Book of Eli. I thought that was a very well-made movie, and it certainly, the way I viewed the film was, this is what the world would look like without the foundation of Scripture.
I don't know. That's not really a Christian movie, though, Ben. Your wife's right.
You didn't say that. It wasn't.
I just want to side with your wife on this one and say, I like the movie. I think there's a lot of cool things. I think that one could take that our God is real because it preserved his character till the end, and that was what they were trying to bring forward as the preservation of Scripture, and the fact that he's real because he was capable of preserving that man's life as well. But they put the book, and they say that, and then the next hand they say it going next to the Quran and stuff.
Yeah, I thought the ending was a little bit PC.
It seemed like it to me. Now, if you had said Tombstone, I would have said amen, brother.
It's been so long since I've seen Tombstone. No,
I won an argument with Chris Dorr over that. Did you know that, John?
No, but only you and I are the only two here that know who Chris Dorr is.
Sorry, Chris Dorr is a local politician here in Des Moines, Ben. You don't need to know who he is.
He goes to my church.
But he's a big Tombstone fan, and he thought he could out Tombstone me, and in fact, I proved him wrong.
Well, you have to revel in your small victories. I mean,
I do. He's a sharp guy. Okay, so kind of moving along here.
Yeah, I have ADD, so I could certainly get off on any rabbit trail you want.
Sure. I think we all have a little bit of ADD. That's why we're on the radio playing around.
I have ADOSO.
It's like
attention deficit. Ooh, shiny object.
Well,
ask me why I like Journey.
Why do you like Journey?
Because their lead singer's Asian, of course.
It's a little racist of you.
He's actually he's Filipino. I suppose that counts.
That's Asian.
But we digress. So anyway, how do Christians balance this out? I mean, how does this work? That's your own question, so you should have an answer there, Ben.
I'm searching right now. I think there's the balance is between what's legalistic and what the liberty is. Again, when I talk about discernment, Paul extensively wrote about it. For example, we're free to eat. He says he's free to eat meat, but if it's going to offend a brother, he won't do it around him. What I have as a modern day example would be if you're watching a ball game at home, and you got a buddy with you that's struggling or had been an alcoholic, you've got two choices of what's in your fridge. You've got beer or Pepsi. You're free under the liberties granted to go ahead and drink the beer if you want. But is it really beneficial? Is it really going to help the person next to you that has been struggling in that area? And at that point, you just err on the side of, let me appeal to the weaker brother. Let me help them out. And it has nothing to do with, so there are times you set aside your liberty, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that's really how you balance that out.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, our Christian liberty is primarily to serve our brothers, not to serve ourselves.
Right.
John's an interrupting. Sai, you had your hand up and wanted to speak.
Yeah,
I didn't see his hand up.
It's because you're not watching.
Well, Ben, I don't know if you mentioned it, but could you kind of give us an idea of why a Christian or why a non-Christian would want to come to the conference, and what was the purpose of this conference?
Well, I think for a Christian, something that we've noticed is there is a very, very large majority of Christians that if they're put on the spot...
Hold on, Ben, I can answer this. Hold on. Stop. Before you save your answer, interrupting Cal. The reason a Christian would go to this is because they get to see their hero, Sai Tim Bergenkate, or whatever his name is.
Tim Bergenkate.
I'm never... The way he's goading me online, he's lucky he gets a mention. But that's why they go, to see Sai Tim Bergenkate. There's no other reason. I mean, Kim Hand's great, but he's no Sai. Okay, back to your answer, Ben.
Well, Sai is certainly one of the attractions of the event. It's not often that you get to meet a Canadian that
can speak
that well. Yeah, I think he can speak for the most part. I actually, when I had a chance to talk to him, we Princess Bride quoted out each other. So
my problem with the Canadians is that they like French, and I don't like anything French.
You eat French fries, dude. Stop.
I don't like French fries.
You lying.
Hey, we're coming up on another break, and now that we've insulted Canada, probably Sai Tim Bergenkate and all his fans, we're going to go to a extremely short break here. I think we're just going to try to do a minute, and then we'll be right back with our guest, Ben Edens of the Proof of God Conference. See you after the break. Hi, this is Dan Fry, one of the hosts of A Rebel's Cause Radio. Did you know that you can like us on Facebook? That you can follow us on Twitter? That you can watch our previously recorded shows on YouTube? That you can listen to a live audio stream on Mixlr.com? That's mixlr.com/webcast-1-live. Or that you can email us with any ideas you have for the show at idea@arebelscause.com. And we want to say thank you. We love this show, but we couldn't do it without rebels like you who interact with us on a daily basis through these methods. So thanks for going with us on this journey in search of edifatainment.
Be bold like David and say, God, I'm asking you to send prosperity now. Send healing now. Send vindication now. Send restoration now. But you say, Joel, that's kind of far out, asking God to do it right now.
Yeah, Joel, that is pretty far out for God to do it right now. If you did not agree with what you just heard, call in at 1-855-244-0077 and join the conversation with our unruly cast of rebels, hosted by Dan Fry.
That is right. This is A Rebel's Cause Radio. John's not... Oh! John wasn't watching to deflect the shot, and I still missed.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
We are a little show here live in Des Moines, Iowa, where we're a bunch of Christians that sit around and talk about Christian stuff. We thank you for joining us. That was a quick pizza break so John and I could take bites of our food because we haven't had dinner yet. And we're back to the conversation. And Sai, when did you stop beating your wife?
She's not listening, so it doesn't matter.
Cy said he was going to beat his... Pray for Cy's wife, because Cy said that he was going to beat his wife for not playing.
You actually blew the loaded question. It's actually, have you stopped beating your wife?
Oh, that's right. Well, when are you going to stop beating your wife's good, too, because, you know, you can't answer that either.
No, you could get out of that one. You could say, I haven't started.
We do have to...
But when you say...
Cy isn't smart enough to do that.
We have to separate me, Cy, and Cy, because Cy Tenbruggencake hopefully doesn't beat his wife.
I don't think Cy Tenbruggencake has a wife. At least he's never mentioned her. And it doesn't say he's married on Facebook, but that doesn't mean anything. But we are talking with Ben Edens of the Proof of God conference that's happening in October in Orlando, Florida. Beautiful, sunny Orlando, Florida. Which, California gets the credit for being land of fruits and nuts, but I really think Orlando is probably right there along with them. But my wife grew up in Florida, so I like Orlando. I've spent a lot of time there. Ben, are you there still?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Now, how'd you feel about that, Joel Osteen?
I'm usually just shut my ears off when I hear Joel Osteen.
It's good comedy. I mean, he's got to be good for something. And part of me kind of cries when you hear Joel Osteen and you see the size of his church, but part of me kind of laughs a little bit because what he's proposing is pretty ridiculous.
Well, really, it's probably not appropriate to tell you how I really react to Joel Osteen. Probably would get you in a little bit of trouble if I told you what I thought of it.
It would only get you in trouble, sir. We have no FCC rules here.
Let's just leave it to say that I'm not really a big fan of his. I think he's a heretic, but
I don't think you'd find disagreement in this room.
I'm trying to be as nice as I can about it.
Well, okay, I'll be as nice as I can too. That wolf has very nice shiny teeth.
He does, and he wants to bring about prosperity now, and he wants to bring about grace now. I mess it up because that's better than he would
he would say.
Yeah, it's actually better philosophy.
Well, there's actually a website that I've seen, Joel Osteen's sermon or fortune cookie.
It doesn't surprise. I'm gonna have to look that up. Okay, so we're talking about the Proof of God conference, and we know you got a few little guests there. I hear you got Kim Han, Eric Hovid. Is he talking there? Is that correct?
Yep. Eric is actually opening and closing out the conference, so he'll be speaking both nights.
Now, see, I would have thought you would have saved the Cy for that. You really bring the heavy hitter in at the last. Kind of like we do at these political conventions. You just bring the main guy, the heavy hitter, towards the back, the Cy Tenbruggencake.
Well, we really have a full stage of heavy hitters. We've got Carl Kirby, Paul Taylor, Mark Spence, and again, Cy's going to be there too. So
yeah, but that's like Cy's like a Mike Tyson in his prime.
I wouldn't really know if Cy is at his prime or not. I mean, he's
no, I'm saying he's like Mike Tyson in his prime. He's just unbeatable. The guy's a beast. I'm just trying to goad Cy here because he's on chat, Ben. I don't know if you know this, Ben, but we actually have a chat room during our show going, and so people say stuff all the time here on chat, and we like to give shout outs. We got our buddy Spooner on. We got a guy named Spurgeon37.
You said Spurgeon37 wants to go to the conference. Please sign up. You can sign up at proofconference.com. We'd love to have you there. It's going to be a great time. And Cy, since you're listening, I hope you know I do love you, man. I'm just
it's not what we heard, Cy.
I'm just have a little bit of fun.
Maybe we can goad Cy into calling in. You guys can.
I'd love to take a call from Cy.
Well, and I wanted to open that up, Ben, and so people could call in and ask you questions, and that number is 1-855-244-0077. And while we're kind of waiting to see if anybody can fester up and a question and bring it forth, we're going to continue on. I don't know why I try to talk like that. It's just ridiculous.
What?
Fester up. I was just thinking the same thing.
It's
muster
late.
Up the
I'm
courage
tired.
to call you.
I meant to say muster.
That's
I
what
went with
thought.
fester, and then I just couldn't back off of it. So it just sounded horrible. Let's see here. You know, we talked about who's going to be speaking at the event. We've talked about, looking at. Well, we really haven't talked about the events. What events are you planning there? Like, what's going on? Is it just speaking? Is there more to it than that? Lay out what one could expect. Say I sign up. I fly down to Florida. I show up. What can I expect besides lizards and hot weather?
Well,
a lot of
when
retirees.
the doors are going to open up at 4:00, and we've got exhibitors. We've got some fantastic exhibitors and sponsors. They're going to have their booths out there. You can, they'll have plenty of material that you can buy from them. The creation store is going to be down there. We're going to have book signings. We're going to have DVD signings. There's opportunities to have a meal with the speakers. You can have breakfast or lunch, and lunch with the speakers. And
now, is that speakers individually? Can we
yes.
pick our speakers? Because I don't want to eat with Ken Ham, but I would eat with Cy in a heartbeat.
Well, I'm not sure why, but Cy just isn't really available for meals. But you do have Mark Spence, you do have Paul Taylor, you've got Eric Hovind, you've got Carl Kirby. Those are all great options. And one of the great things about the meal speaker, if you purchase a speaker meal, the catering company is actually a ministry that works in conjunction with the organization in Haiti, and for every meal that is purchased, you are actually providing a day of education and a meal to a child in Haiti as well. So,
oh wow,
it's a nice partnership with the caterer too.
Well, that is pretty cool. And so you can eat with them, you can listen to them speak. The vendors, what vendors do you got going there?
Well, we've got. Actually, one thing that I forgot to say is we've also got breakout sessions.
What's a breakout session? I'm going to plead ignorance here. I've never been to a religious conference, so some of these terminologies you guys are using, I see, and all the ones I get invited to, I have no idea what it means.
I think the only one I've ever been to is Promise Breakers.
I've never been to Promise Keepers. They came in and talked. Like, I've met the guys, the president of Promise Keepers and his main staff. They came in. I don't know anything about them. But tell me what a breakout session is.
Well, it's a little bit smaller. It's more intimate. Probably 50 to probably around 30 to 50 people, depending on the size of the room, and they're going to be talking on topics that are about their ministry. Like, we've got the Mount St. Helens Creation Museum coming in, and Lloyd Anderson, who's the director of the museum. Not only are they exhibiting, but he's going to be doing a session for a small audience where they can take questions. And the session is basically going to be about how Mount St. Helens provides an observable young Earth, literal, 6-day creation in proof.
Well, but here's a little bit of Cy in me. Is it going to prove stuff? I mean, the evidential stuff I see is real comforting to the brothers, but I mean, do you expect things like that, I guess, to prove it to an unbeliever, or?
Well, I think probably Cy is the better one to answer that.
Well, he'd say no.
Well, what I believe is that everyone knows God exists, and that's one of the premises of the conference as well.
Sure.
Is that everyone knows that God exists, but there's people that don't want to be accountable for their actions, so they're going to suppress the truth and live like there's no God. So
Ben, you said something there, and I'm going to rabbit trail here. Jefferson Bethke, are you familiar with who that is?
No.
Okay, he's a poet, spoken word guy from Mark Driscoll's church, Mars Hills Church. And he did that Jesus Greater Than Religion poem.
Okay.
You're familiar with that?
I've heard of Mark Driscoll.
Okay, well, this is a guy from his church, and we're not going to insult Mark here. Mark is another show.
Another whole show.
Yeah, he could take up a whole show. I like a lot of what Driscoll's done lately. We may check the date on the orthodoxy test there for him. But this guy he put a poem up called "Counterfeit Gods," and he said something that's kind of interesting. The first two verses, he ruins the whole poem because he's got the rest of it's great. But he says everybody knows. You say God doesn't exist. The Bible tells us not possible, and you're like, great, stop there. And he goes, you're worshiping your own gods, or you're just worshiping your own gods, not the God of the gospel, which is a miss, right? I mean, that's where a lot of people, a lot of Christians, they think that we can actually believe God doesn't exist, and you're saying that's not true.
Well, the Bible clearly says that everyone knows God exists.
Sure, and the Bible, and in your opinion, the Bible not only says everybody knows God exists, but which God that is specifically, correct?
Well, it's the only God that it is. You know, it's the God of the Bible. It's the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. You know, the God who created us is the only God that exists.
So to say that they're just worshiping a different God of their own making isn't really true, because they know God exists, not because of that, but because they know God exists, because He's revealed Himself in creation.
Right.
Okay. I just thought it was interesting. I saw that poem, and the first time I listened to it, I said, yeah, it's a pretty good poem, because he's talking about all these idols we lift up, and that's something that needs to be addressed and is relevant to modern day. But that first two lines bothered me. And the more I thought about it, I said, this is why it bothers me. It's because everybody knows God exists, and they know which God it is. It's not a made-up God. It is like Tim Brugenkate likes to put, it's not a probable God. It's the actual God, and they know. And they're without excuse. And that's what that Romans... what is it? You probably know the verse. What's the verses, Ben? Give me the verses.
Okay, well...
What a bad apologist you are.
I told you I'm not an apologist, but it's the first chapter of Romans. Actually, we're focusing on verses 18 to 22 at the conference.
Okay.
Where basically it falls under what I had just talked about, that God has revealed Himself. He's made it known. We are without excuse, and that's the premise of it. And I would almost say that when you look at an atheist, when you have a discussion with an atheist,
I do every day.
A lot of them, when they're trying to defend their positions, they get angry. Now, to me, if you have a strong position, you're not going to get angry about it. You're going to know and firmly believe this. But the atheists, if you get someone that's an intellectually honest atheist, the atheists don't actually exist, because even they know that it's possible for God to exist. Like even Richard Dawkins got backed into a corner.
Sure.
Well, he gets back into the corner all the time.
It was kind of interesting. The guy filming us, and part of the reason we kind of said he was filming us is because he's an atheist. Kristen Day that came in, and they're filming a documentary which they've asked me to be in, and I actually I took a chapter out of Si's book and trained with the champ so that I don't get knocked out by a chump. So I was hanging out with my pastor today, and we were role playing possible answers to the questions I'm going to be asked on this, as to not make a fool of myself or of Christianity. But it is really interesting, because he actually said something I actually appreciated, because it was consistent with the atheist position. If God doesn't exist, it's really not that important to him. And so his thing is, he's not going to argue with us because it's really not that important. He knows it doesn't exist, so why would he spend his time arguing with us? And that was the first atheist that gave me that answer. And that's the first right answer I've seen from an atheist. If God isn't real, then it's not worth his time. But so many of them have this weird obsession that not only do they not believe in him, they want everybody not to believe in him, but they want to debate it to the ends of the earth. They spend more time talking about religion than a lot of Christians.
Well, the thing is a lot of people perceive the atheists that yell and shout and make a lot of noise and try to stomp out every vestige of religion as the most hardened atheists, and the ones who are kind of polite. And I don't see the point in really talking about something that doesn't exist. I'm not bothered by it. I'm not bothered by you believing it. Let's just be friends, as the ones who are nowhere near as hardened. But the truth of the matter is, it's actually the other way around, because the one who is truly hardened is the one that's not feeling that conscience,
I'm with you
ripping
there.
him to shreds.
I'm not.
The one who's trying to stomp God out is the one who's trying to assuage the conscience that's just going nuts inside of him.
I agree with you that they're probably not as hardened, because a guy that's hardened and just said, and it's really not that big a deal, and my conscience doesn't ping me. There's a spiritual deadness there that we kind of have to acknowledge, because if you don't feel the guilt and you don't feel these things, then you've deceived yourself, and the truth isn't in you. And Cy and I can talk till we're blue in the face. I think that means totally deceived, and that's a scary place to be, because that puts you well outside of the, it doesn't. With God, anything's possible, but it puts you in the not likely camp pretty quickly. If you're so dead you can't respond to that. So it is kind of scary, John. I wasn't celebrating the fact he's there, but that's at least an intellectually honest position. I don't believe something, so it's not important for me to debate it. I don't believe cigarettes are healthy. I don't spend any time trying to debate cigarettes are healthy at all.
Well, I would have to take the double Maduro cigar or double Maduro log out of my eye.
Well, wait a second, John. Cigars and cigarettes aren't the same.
I know they're not the same thing.
But let's not get into, I don't want to. I got hung up on a Christian liberty issue this last, maybe it was I think it was this weekend. And so we're not going to get into those, because I don't want to have another Facebook and YouTube and email argument with people.
Because your conscience is getting to you.
No. No, it's just hard to be polite to people that are wrong. So anyway, Ben, we're talking with you about this conference. It's set up. It's October 12th and 13th, right?
Yes.
In Orlando, Florida. Why Orlando?
Well, we had a lot of options.
Because Vegas was probably available, right?
Vegas probably was, but Orlando is certainly an attractive location. Like I said, you've got Disney, you've got Universal, you've got SeaWorld, you've got Holy Land Experience. You also have the headquarters of Wycliffe Bible Translators there, and they actually have a museum that's very, very affordable. I think it's like $8 to get in.
Wow.
And maybe I'm a little bit biased, because my mother-in-law is a missionary with Wycliffe, and so is my brother-in-law, who's actually serving in Nigeria right now. But it's a great museum there, and it will teach all about how Bible translation actually happens. And it's so I mean there's so many things to do in Orlando. It's just a great family-friendly location. I wouldn't recommend ever going there in the first week of June, however.
Sure. Now, something I said there a minute ago, Seiton Brugenkate, as he so nicely does, corrected me on it. I love him. I appreciate the correction. Intellectually honest argument that isn't really an intellectually honest argument, because intellect comes from God, and so he's denying it. So there's no intellect involved. Okay, but it is consistent with the atheist position.
Correct.
So he's right there, and that's I need to stop. Maybe I need to stop recognizing his intellect there. That's reasonable. So
Well, one thing that I would want to know is, when you're discussing with an atheist, if you really think that we're just absolutely insane, why can't we be dismissed as easily as, say, we dismiss the Westboro Baptist Church? We can say, look, they're not representative of what we actually believe.
Though, but I think that's a mistake, Ben. I think it's a horrible mistake. I think it's one of the biggest mistakes our church makes, and that's we see churches that claim to be Christians practicing something other than Christianity, and we don't separate ourselves from so the world can see. It goes back to that what if I stumble comment that we talked about. The greatest cause of atheism in the world today is people that say that they're under him but then deny him with their lifestyle. I think it's doing exactly that. We're not separating from ourselves, and then you got these guys that are bigots, and they're truly bigots. They're truly hate mongers and hate speakers and evil, wicked people carrying out atrocities in the name of God, and we don't stand up to them at all.
Well, the church's voice has been so smeared all over the place on that issue. You have the V. Gene Robinsons of the world and his ilk. And I don't use that word lightly, and I don't use it apologetically, his ilk, that try to present to the world that the church is okay with this. Well, no, it's, we're not. I mean, it's not. The Bible's not. But then you have the guys like Fred Phelps that paint the people who are not okay with it as these hateful, violent people, and so that just undermines our position all over again. I mean, it's like between the V. Gene Robinsons and the Fred Phelpses of the world, the church's voice on the issue of marriage is just all over the place.
Well, there is a problem when people can drive by a church and they're legitimately confused about what the very basis of our religion believes. You know, and I'm not going to debate gay marriage with these people because they deny that God is God, and we can't start anywhere other than that conversation because that is my basis for every other conversation. But these churches that say, oh, we worship the same God, and then in the same thing, they do things that are horrendous, or they take positions that are heretical and go, by and large, unchecked or uncorrected or just jabbed in private. What do we do with them? I mean, to me, it's a major problem in our country because we're losing because of it, you know? To me, taking God out of the Constitution makes a lot of sense when you look what a lot of the Christians believe is God anyway. It's you know, I mean, so it's kind of it's depressing. Ben, how do you feel about that?
I think that there's a lot of churches that do teach a false gospel that don't have any idea what the gospel is, and like you said, it's depressing. I can give you an example from personal experience. When my wife and I got married, she moved over from Orlando, and I'm in the Tampa area, and the church that I was going to was just too far to drive, so we decided, all right, well, we'll just find a church, you know, around here, and it took us 6 months to find one, because I mean, there were some churches that I mean,
what kind of church do you go to right now?
I go to a Reformed Southern Baptist church.
Okay.
Boo.
But
no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
We got one Calvary Chapel guy here. You had to have a voice of opposition.
He would agree with you on the baptism thing. We'd agree with you on everything else.
There's no problem with Calvary Chapel. You know, I don't. You know, I look at I look at the essentials, and you know, and on the essentials there's agreement. And when it comes, I was not actually a Calvinist before I got married. My wife was, and to be honest, I almost was afraid to date her, and I'm very thankful to the wife.
I'm surprised your dad let you.
Actually, her father passed away before we had met, but
that explains it.
Well,
I can make jokes about dead parents. My mom's dead. I just want everybody to know. So,
gives you a free pass.
Yeah, it gives me a free pass. That's exactly right.
Yeah, but you know, one of the positions that I was in, that I was in, I'm really thankful that I made this comment to the wrong person, who it was the wife of the young adults pastor where I was going to church, and she told, and I said, because she had met my wife, and she was like, yeah, I really like her, you know, is there, you know, she seems like she's good for you. I said, well, I don't know how well it's going to work. You know, she's a Calvinist, I'm not. I just don't know if that's going to work. This woman literally almost kicked me. She said, it can work. I'm a Calvinist. My husband isn't, and we do just fine.
Well, but that would be problematic because one of you is reading the Bible correctly, and the other is not.
Well, it just took a little bit of a readjustment to where it, you know, I mean, I was, before I went.
What's that readjustment though, Ben? Is that where you realize that God is God and ordained things in your life, or I mean, it's more than just an adjustment; it's a paradigm shift.
I think I had always been at least, you know, on a 4 out of 5, and the only thing that was getting me was the typical argument that's against, and that is, but it's not fair.
Okay.
And I said.
Speaking of not fair, that music in your ear is us going to break. So real quickly, finish your story. You got about 30 seconds, Ben.
Okay, well, what I decided, or what was pointed out to me was, if God was fair, everyone would be damned.
We'll start there. This is the top of the hour. It's going to be a little bit longer break. We are going to reset our video here during this break. So if our screens go black, just stay with us. We'll be right back. This is a Rebels Cause Radio. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in about 4 minutes.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershot.
I am administrative manager
I am the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it.